Hello everyone. In the last lecture, we discussed about the semiconductor. Now we know that semiconductor is a material whose electrical conductivity lies between that of metals and insulators. At absolute zero temperature, the semiconductor behaves as insulator, and at room temperature, it behaves as a conductor. Now there are two types of semiconductors: intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor is a pure semiconductor. Okay, means no doping is done in intrinsic semiconductor. But the conductivity of intrinsic semiconductor is less, and to increase the conductivity of intrinsic semiconductor, we have to dope the intrinsic or pure semiconductor by some suitable impurity. Okay, and when trivalent impurity is added to a pure semiconductor, p-type semiconductor is formed, and when pentavalent impurity is added to a pure semiconductor, n-type semiconductor is formed. Now we know that p-type semiconductor contains holes as the majority charge carriers and electrons as the minority charge carriers, and n-type semiconductor contains electrons as the majority charge carriers and holes as the minority charge carriers. Now, what is a p-n junction? Now, how p-type and n-type material is formed, we have discussed. Okay. Now, when p-type semiconducting material is suitably joined with n-type semiconducting material, then a junction is formed between the two semiconducting materials. Now, this is the junction formed between the two semiconducting materials, and this junction is called as the p-n junction. When p-type semiconducting material is suitably joined with n-type semiconducting material, then a junction is formed between the two semiconducting materials, and this junction is called as the p-n junction. Now here the p-type and n-type material are not simply suitably joined to each other, but it contains some processes, and the different important processes used for the fabrication of p-n junction is the gaseous diffusion process, then alloying process, etc. Okay. So this is the junction formed between the p-type and n-type semiconducting material, which is called as the p-n junction. Now, if we draw an electrode from this p-type semiconducting material, this electrode is called as anode, and if an electron is drawn from n-type semiconducting material, it is called as a cathode. Okay. So the p-n junction is having two electrodes. 2 means die. Therefore, this p-n junction device is also called as a p-n junction diode, or simply we say it as a diode, because di means 2. It has 2 electrodes, so it is called as a diode. Okay. It is also called as the p-n junction diode. Now, the right hand side figure, this represents the symbol of the p-n junction diode. This is the anode, which is drawn from p-type semiconducting material. This is the cathode, which is drawn from the n-type semiconducting material. And this arrowhead, it indicates the conventional direction of current flow in one direction. Okay, the arrowhead indicates the conventional direction of current flow in one direction. Now, let us look towards the formation of depletion layer and barrier potential. Okay. Now, we know that when p-type material is suitably joined with n-type material, then a junction is formed between the two semiconducting materials. Now, look at this figure. Okay. This is the p-type semiconductor material, this is the n-type semiconducting material. Now the majority charge carriers in p-type materials are holes, the majority charge carriers in n-type materials are electrons. Means This is a PN junction device. The concentration of holes is greater in p-type semiconducting material and the concentration of electrons, that is greater in the n-type semiconducting material. Now when the junction is formed, then there is a diffusion of charge carriers on both sides of the junction. After the formation of junction, there is diffusion of charge carriers on both sides of the junction because there is a difference in the concentration of charge carriers on both sides of the junction. Without any external applied voltage at the junction, holes will diffuse from P side to N side. The diffusion of holes will take place from P side to N side crossing this junction. In the same way, there will be diffusion of these electrons from N side to P side crossing the junction. Okay, therefore, near the junction, they will recombine with each other. They will recombine with each other, and hence the recombination of electrons and holes takes place from both sides of the junction. Now the region on both sides of the junction is depleted of free charge carriers. It is depleted of free charge carriers because this region consists of only fixed charge carriers. These charge carriers are fixed. Okay, and therefore this region is called as the depletion region, or simply we say it as a depletion layer. Now this depletion layer, it consists of opposite charge carriers on both sides of the junction. Okay, towards the left side of the junction means in p-type material there are electrons. Towards the right side of the junction, that means in the n-type region, it contains holes here. Means we are considering only the depletion region here. Okay, the depletion layer consists of opposite charge carriers on both sides of the junction, and due to this opposite charge carriers on both sides of the junction, a potential is established across the junction, and this potential is called as the junction potential or barrier potential, which is denoted by VB. It is called as junction potential or barrier potential. Now this potential, it prevents further diffusion of charge carriers, because in this depletion region, in the p-type region, there are electrons. Okay, when these electrons will cross the junction, they are repelled by these electrons, and therefore the diffusion will never take place. Same is the case from p side. When holes cross the junction, again they are repelled by these holes present in the depletion layer, and therefore they will never enter into the n-type material. So this barrier potential, it prevents further diffusion of charge carriers. At room temperature, the value of this barrier potential is about 0.3 volt for germanium. It is about 0.3 volt for germanium, and it is 0.7 volt for silicon. Now germanium and silicon, these are the pure semiconductors. Okay, for the formation of p-type and n-type semiconducting material, the pure semiconductor material used is either germanium or silicon. Okay, so the barrier potential is about 0.3 volt for germanium and 0.7 volt for silicon at room temperature. Now the width of this depletion layer, it can change. The width of depletion layer and the value of this barrier potential, It depends on the doping concentration on both sides of the junction, as well as it also depends upon the junction temperature. When the doping concentration is high, the width of this depletion layer is small. When the doping concentration is high, the width of depletion layer is small, and hence the value of barrier potential is decreased. And when the doping concentration is low, the width of depletion layer is large and barrier potential that time is increased. In this way, depletion layer and barrier potential are formed in the PN junction. Okay. Now in the next lecture we will discuss about the biasing of PN junction. Now there are two types of biasing, forward biasing and reverse bias. So we will meet in the next lecture. Thank you everyone.